Hello again, this is the Craps Coach and welcome to my YouTube channel today. Thanks for joining in. I've got a video on strategy again. As always, with the content, if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit like. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you know when we put out new content. If you got anything to say, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I usually do a fairly good job about getting to them and answering them. All right, so this is a strategy. I'm going to call it the 1, 2, 3. It is a strategy that can be used for a choppy table. Effectively, I'm kind of going between the pass and the don't pass and the come and the don't come. And I call it 1, 2, 3 because the first bet is going to be 1 unit, second bet is going to be 2, the third bet is going to be 3. So for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to say that this is a $5 table. So effectively here I've got 1 unit, 2 units, and 3 units in all these stacks, and each stack is going to be on a shooter. I'm going to use a stack on each shooter, so I have enough here for 4 shooters as far as this demonstration goes. So 30th stack, 30 times 30th stack. So I think this is 60. I think this is 240. Yeah, that's 240. So that's kind of would be your buy-in here. So I'm going to demonstrate it first as kind of how to go. And I usually like to start with the pass and then eventually go into the don't pass because most shooters will not hold the dice more than about 10 rolls. So initially I'm trying to capitalize on getting some passes, if you will, establish a number, hitting that number, and then once I get into the danger area as the number of rolls that the shooter is rolling increases, the likelihood of a 7 showing up becomes higher in my opinion. So I'm trying to capitalize on that. So really briefly, so we're going to start with 1 unit on the pass line for shooter A. We'll say whatever points established. Let's say we establish a 5. I don't take odds, okay? So it's just letting the flats and trying to work on the flats. So the next one is going to be 2 units and say at 8 rolls, so the comes move to 8, and then I'm going to go to my 3 units and let's say 10 rolls, and then we're going to come to here like this to the 10. Now I'm going to start doing my don'ts. I'm going to again try to establish 3 don'ts. Let's say we get a 9. I've got a 9 here, and then I'm going to do 2 units. Again, this is something where if a number repeats, for example, a 10 shows up, you're going to win your come bet. You'll take that off, and then your don'ts, you're going to move to that number, and then you're eventually going to get through your second stack for each shooter of 3. If, for example, if something like 2 shows up, because this does not lose, you just collect your winnings and it still stays as you're trying to get out to 3 numbers here. Then let's say eventually you'll say it throws a 4, and then you're going to be here. And then once you've burned through both your stacks, remember I had 2 stacks of 6 chips each, then you're just going to let it ride out for that shooter to see how they do. And effectively 2 stacks per shooter. If the shooter keeps making the points, that's great. You just kind of let it go. But as soon as the shooter 7 out, they lose the dice, you're going to start with the second stack as far as that goes. That's kind of the quick and dirty of how this is supposed to play out as we go through the demonstration. The nuances of sometimes when the point is made or when the 7 comes will be important to illustrate kind of what to do as far as that. But let me go back to starting up my 2 stacks of 6 per shooter. So again, I've got enough out here for 4 shooters. I'm going to throw red out here. Red chips represents a don't pass or the point was not made, and a green means the point was made per shooter. So we're going to kind of, again, play this out in real time with random rolls, just me shaking the dice, letting them go, and we're going to see how this kind of goes out. So, and I'll talk more about this kind of uniqueness, the little nuances that may show up here. So again, we're going to start with a pass line bet, and we're coming out. Let's see how this goes here. I'm going to go probably at least through 4 shooters, if not 5, and we'll kind of evaluate kind of how this is going. All right, Here we go. First roll coming out. 10. The point is 10, and you're going to take 2 units, and now you're going to have a come bet. All right, 9. Comes moved to 9, and then you're going to be 3 in the come. 3 units in the come bet. Again, $5 table here, so I'm just using red chips. You can play this if you do it with green. You can just do the same 1, 2, 3 in green, because that covers most tables I've seen around as minimums at least $15 or so. It all depends on how big your bankroll can be and what sort of color chips that you want to play with. Again, I don't take any odds. I just let the flats work. All right, so here we go. All right, so in this case, the shooter 7's out. I'm going to mark that that's 1 don't pass. The last come wins, and these obviously lose. You're kind of right back where you're at. You notice in this shooter, I never got to the second stack. I never got to start playing the don't side. So now we're going to go on to the second one. Because it was essentially a wash, which is a thing about this kind of strategy, I'm going to just start again with these chips. Again, still 6 per stack, 3 for kind of playing with the shooter, then the second stack, the 1, 2, 3 to play against the shooter. So again, let's start with a come out roll. Coming out, 7. In this case, it wins. It's not taken, so it just remains out there, and I haven't really started my 1, 2, 3 yet. Yo, 11. 6. All right, so now I can start establishing my 1, 2, 3. Now we start with a come bet, 2 units on the come. 8. And now 3 units on the come. 5. And now I'm going to do 1 unit on the don't come. Okay, that's an 8. So this is where I like this thing. So that wins. Your don'ts move to 8. And I'm still in the second stack on the first shooter. So now I have 2 units down here in the don't come. 12. So that's a push. Because it's a push, I don't lose it. So I keep it at the 2. Had I lost it, I would have then gone up to kind of a 3 as far as that goes, because again, I'm trying to do the 1, 2, 3 per shooter. 8. I lost that one. That one replaces it, and now I'm on 3 units on the DC. 8. Lost that on here. Now, since I've gone through both stacks on the same shooter, now I'm just going to let these play out to their conclusion and see how this goes. 9, nothing. 7. Okay, in this case, this loses, that loses, but I win the don't here, and that was that all for that shooter. Okay, I'm going to leave that stack there. So now that's 2 don't passes. I'm going to start with this stack on a new shooter because that last shooter 7'd out. So coming out. 8. All right, 2 units. 7. In this case, this loses. That comes back, right back there. Let me replenish this here. So I'm back to my 2 stacks per the shooter. That's 3 don't passes. I'm going to utilize this stack again on the next shooter. The dice would have passed to the next shooter. All right. 11. 7. Still trying to get my, because again, the 1, 2, 3 doesn't start until this kind of moves. Either at the points established or I lose it with a 2, 3, or 12, as far as that goes. So I'm still on my 1. There's another 11. 7. 10. All right, finally, now go down to 2, 7. This loses, that goes back. If I just reestablish this stack here, okay, again, marking my number of don't passes. So very cold table, 4 shooters, 4 points not made, 4 don't passes. You can see, if I go back to 6 here, right here, this was shooter 1. So this stack right here represents all profit at this point here, and I've gotten 4 don't passes on that. So we're going to keep going. Since all stacks are even, I'm just going to start with this one for simplicity's sake, as far as keeping the demonstration of this 1, 2, 3 kind of going. So pass line 12. This would be an example where now I've lost the pass line bet, so I would just go to 2. So again, that's when I would go from 1 to 2, because again, I'm trying to spend the first stack of 6 chips on the shooter, and when you get knocked off with a craps, you go up to 2. If it, for whatever reason, it remained like 7 or 11, like there was a few rolls, you would just stay there, and you're not really kind of getting it going here. 3 craps, that's off. And then there's your 3 for that. All right, there's 4. So again, I've burned through the first stack of playing with the shooter. Now I'm going to do my 1, 2, 3 on the dark side, or the don't side here. Okay, 2. Again, because that is still there, the craps just won it. I'm still on 1 of my 1, 2, 3. All right, 5. So the don'ts move to 5, 2, 9. And I got my 3. So I've now spent both stacks on this shooter. And after this moves, whether I lose it or it moves, I just keep playing until the shooter 7 outs. 7's out in this case. So this is a loss. This is a loss. But your don'ts win. So you lost a little bit. Again, that's another loss. That's 5 don't passes. Really cold table as far as this going here. And if I were to go back to just making these even, I'm up 5. So let's keep going. I'd really like to see somebody actually make the point on this. So again, pass line 5. All right, we're up to 2. So 1 is right here. Now we're up to 2. 8, comes move to 8. And now I'm up to 3. Okay, 5. So shooter finally made the point. That's signified by a green chip. That correlates with the pass line. This comes here. That moves to 5. Again, since I've spent my stack for the pass line, I'm now going to do the 1, 2, 3. So in this case, I'm going to do the 1 on the don't pass, because now I'm going to spend this stack playing the dark side. So still coming out. 8. So the shooter made the point. Take that off. And then the 2 is going to obviously go to the don't come. You can kind of see it. You've got some numbers for 5 wins, and now a 7 would win the don't pass, and we're going to keep kind of going to see how this plays out here as I go through this stack of playing playing the dark side here. So 10, it's a good don't number to have, and then 3, 12. Unfortunately, that's just a push. Wish it wasn't, but it is. So I didn't lose it, so I still let it ride here because I'm just trying to spend the 1, 2, 3 on the dark side with this shooter. As the point is 8. Yo 11, that's an unfortunate, so we lost that. But now we see we've got the table, we've got effectively 1 with the shooter and 2 against the shooter here. So we'll kind of see how this goes. 5, well, that's a good win right there. Take that off. Now this is where you're set up with the don'ts. You're just effectively waiting for a 7 to show up. 6, nothing. 6, nothing. 5, nothing. 9, nothing. 5, nothing. 6, nothing. 7. So we won that one, and we won this don't. And that's been 6 don'ts, 1 pass line, so 7 decisions, and we'll kind of see where we're at here. So shooter 1, shooter 2, shooter 3, shooter 4. So this is all. So this is all profit. There's 25, 35. So in the process of this demonstration, playing this 1, 2, 3, 2 stacks per each shooter, 3, 1, 2, 3 with the shooter, 1, 2, 3 against the shooter, 6 decisions, 6 don't passes, 1 pass. We're up $25, $35 there. You can kind of see how it goes. One of the things about this is, since I'm doing 1, 2, 3 instead of versus 1 all the time, it allows me to make up ground should I lose one of the hands, and hopefully one of the hands wins where I've got a flat at 2 units or a flat at 3 units. So I'll go ahead and conclude it right there. Multiple things, 7 different hands. So effectively, only 1 pass. That's probably the effective of going through about 6 different shooters at the table, and I'm up $35 again. So again, it's a great way to kind of win the table. You don't know what it is. This is an extremely cold table. Nobody's making any points. You're actually getting some money, again, capitalizing when the shooter should hopefully make you money. And then once they get past 6 rolls or more, you've established a few don't numbers, up to 3 possible don't numbers, and you're just waiting for the 7 to come so you can cash in on all those. So again, thanks for joining in today. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have anything to say in the comments, and thanks for watching.